This week I'm driving Kia's EV5 GT-Line. When I first saw the EV5, I thought it was great. I like this design language a lot. Look, some people don't, and of course you're all entitled to your own opinions, but those who don't like it are wrong. It starts with this fairly brutal front end. There's still a hint of tiger nose grille, but of course there's no need for grille, so there's no real need for the tiger nose. And the LED lights. And all of the EVs really have the same look about them, except for EV6. Now somewhere in there is Nero, the Nero EV, and I don't know how it fits in with cars like this in the range. E-Line's got a smart set of 20-inch wheels and nifty door handles that are normally flat but come out when the key is sensed. The rear seat is fairly generous and it's incredibly easy for me to get in. This, for a change, is nice and high. Overhead is a full width sunroof. I've got the shade closed today, of course. And have a look at this for rear legroom. There's a little heated and cooled compartment and a USB outlet. And because this is the top model, it also has Harman Kardon speakers. And there's no speakers in the console, they're here in the B-pillar. I'm still not fussed on this little kick up in the back, but it's a very small complaint to make about this small office block on wheels. The rear, there's absolutely no doubting that it's a Kia, or that it's an EV5, or that it's a GT-Line. The open button, of course, is at the bottom. There's a generous boot area, an underfloor area here, an underfloor area for cables, and the all-important vehicle to load outlet. And that's something that our friends discovered in the recent disaster, the cyclone that came and flooded parts of Queensland and northern New South Wales. People were able to plug into their cars and power some of their house, but only up to about 3 kilowatts. The first thing I wanted to start off with, and I don't know if you can see it, but just here on the door, in fact on both doors, there's a greasy mark from elbows. I don't know whether that's sun cream or something, but I haven't been able to get it off. And that's something that I think is a real worry. It's on the driver's door as well. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just here. There's a fabulous center console, a couple of USB outlets, some cup holders, etc. But I wanted to point out just down here on the center console, there's a fingerprint reader. If you don't put your finger on that once it's programmed, the car won't start. The other thing is this infotainment system unit here. 3 screens, one there, one here, a little one for the air conditioning and climate, and then one over here which is not a touch screen, and that's for the driver's instruments and dials and so forth. And up here you can probably see that big dish in the dashboard. That is for the head-up display. In front of me it's very, very wide. It's at least as wide as the driver's dials. Again, I can see all of the information. This is very much like the other cars that we've seen recently. We've got some individual air conditioning controls here and touch controls just here. So those words are actually controls. Now watch what happens when I try and do something on the main screen. Hold on a sec. Oh God, look. Every time I do something now I rest my hand here, because this is where you'd naturally rest your hand, and especially when you're doing that and programming an address in, you accidentally hit these words, which is so annoying. In any event, I'm going to use my CarPlay, which is wireless. Let's just set in, no, I just did it then. How annoying. Let's go back, search, save places. So go to my usual destination. One thing I noticed, that even if I use the inbuilt system, it still didn't give me how much battery I'd have on arrival. It's telling me I've got 128 kilometers and this trip is a 53 kilometer trip. So let's hope I don't finish up in disaster. Oh, of course. I've got to go in and turn off the speed sign recognition. Now, I don't know why Kia persists with that. They keep saying that they were obliged to put in speed side recognition and overspeed warning. The trouble is, it's always wrong. And it pings when you change speed zones, pings when you're overspeed, even if it's showing the wrong speed. This is very, very quiet. It's got acoustic linings on some of the glass. The body itself is absolutely beautifully soundproofed. And the two pedals up here, they control the amount of regenerative braking. On this twisty road, the speed limit is about the limit this car should be driven at anyway. One of the things that I think Kia has done well is design the inside of the car so that it feels like it's got plenty of room. The dash is expansive and feels like things aren't just plonked on places. And with even the K4 having this dash, I think Kia's come a long way. I just don't like these touch controls. I'd prefer buttons that you can't easily press. Or should I say buttons that won't press unless you want them to be buttons. Then we talk about the model range, which is Air, Earth and GT-Line. There's two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions, which are single motor and dual motor. And both have a single speed reduction gear. The seats are really comfortable, covered in their artificial leather. The door controls include seat position, because these have electric seats, seat heating and cooling, and the steering wheel heating. There's of course the natty feature that you can activate in the menu system that will cut EV5's air off from the outside if you're going into a tunnel. Going to turn my seat cooling on, it's on maximum. Alright, nice leisurely takeoff. I'm in normal mode because I'm trying to conserve battery, but sport mode does give it a bit of a kick in the pants. However, my 0 to 100 is still a leisurely just over 6 seconds. There's two batteries, a long range and a short range, or long range and a standard range. The long range is 88 kilowatts and weighs 575 kilograms. Oh, there's nothing worse than entering a highway at way under the speed limit. Get out of my way! Alright. It's about now I want to point out the blind spot view monitor, which means that depending on which way you indicate, you get a little view down the side of the car. So the lane centering and auto steering is on. As is the auto lane change. Now in a minute it's going to ask me if I want to use auto lane change. So the car just did that lane change all by itself. I'm cruising down the highway now. The ride is extremely comfortable. The car is steering for me. It's keeping me centered in the lane. It's watching for traffic around me. And if you watch down here, you'll see that there's traffic showing, like you've seen in Tesla. Though Tesla is perhaps not quite the shining light that it once was. Most of the Kia EVs can take ultra rapid charging, and this has 400 or 800 volt architecture, and that means that it can take full advantage of ultra rapid charging. Up to 350 kilowatts, it'll get 10 to 80% in about 20 minutes, I think it is, but I'll look that up. That's all this week for the Kia EV5. I like it. I think it's, for an EV at least, well placed in the market, got a decent range, fabulous build quality, great warranty, and a whole bunch of extras that makes it worthwhile. It's more than just a car. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just over there on the little round thing to subscribe.